Hi guys. So this video is being recorded in the morning, so I'll say good morning to you if you're here with me before noon. I'll say good afternoon to you if you're here with me afternoon, and if you're after 5 o'clock, let's say good evening, because I know some of you get to the videos a little late. Please know, I'm not judging. It's the reason I make my due dates 11:59. Today we're going to be covering MLA citation, and this is something that is unique to the language arts. Because MLA literally means Monitored Language Association, and it's the citation format that we utilize in language arts and the other arts to cite where we get our information from. And it's one of those things that's like really important to know, especially if you're planning on attending college or you want to have a firm grasp on it before you head into your junior and senior level English classes and have to write essays. MLA is very much one of those things that you should know. So we're going to cover kind of the basics of citing a source within MLA citation and how to format an MLA works cited page for the end of an essay, or for this case, the end of your Crucible research projects. All right. So first things first, MLA citation pages are always their own page at the end of an essay, or in this case, they will be a separate document for your presentations that you'll be doing. All right, you never tuck a works cited page underneath like a last paragraph or anything like that. It gets its own page. She's that important. All right, and your names are going to go in the upper left-hand corner of this document. Now, if you were not turning in a works cited page with the rest of an essay, this would be fine. Typically, you wouldn't need your name if it was being turned in with an essay, but since you're turning it in separate, names need to go on top of it. So your name, and then if you're in honors class and got a partner, your partner's name will be on a line below yours, all right? And then you'll hit enter that one last time. So you've hit it twice. On the second time, you'll type works cited, and then you'll center it. And I'm going to show you an example of this at the end. All right. Works cited at the top of the page does not need a the. It does not need quotation marks. It does not need italicized. Nothing like that. All right. It literally you just put works and cited, and that's it in the top center underneath your names. All right. You're going to list your sources alphabetically by the first piece of information you know. So if you have an author, you'll use that. If you only know the name of the web page, you'll use that instead. All right, and you'll do it alphabetically. The does count here. So if you have like the cat and the dog, the cat would be placed before the dog. And they would be placed after silly snakes. All right, you'll always indent the second line of a citation, and I'll show you what that looks like here or at the end. And then you're going to double space between your sources, but you're not going to hit the enter key twice. Just make sure you highlight it like you would an essay and make it double spaced versus hitting that enter key twice, because it ends up changing the formatting a little bit. So make sure that you're using that paragraph style in order to change the entire document, which the rest of your essay would have been in double space. And then works cited page are always presented in Times New Roman. It's just the way that they've decided to do it. All right. Citation styles are particular to whatever you're citing. So in APA, there's a way to cite for research and science-based information. In the AP, which is how you cite or how you format and modify and cite for newspapers, they have a totally different way to do that too. So just kind of be aware, like everything has its own style, everything has its own precedent. All right. So why can't you use citation makers? Why am I going over this and how to do it by hand? One, MLA, APA, and a variety of other options do update from year to year. And so sometimes citation makers don't always catch that. And so you could lose points for silly mistakes. And I don't want you to do that. So I double checked before I started presenting this to make sure that the information I had was still correct. And it is. And so it's better to learn how to do it by hand, one, so that you know what you're looking for, and two, so that way you know you're always the most correct, because websites and MLA's website will always update faster than any citation maker you might use online. And if you're not familiar with what a citation maker is, it's a website that, like, if you put the information in, it will create the formatted citation for you. I'm always really leery of using those just because at the end of the day, like I said, they don't update as fast as like the actual MLA website. All right, So basic citations for us. All right, so a few years ago, MLA decided they wanted to try and simplify the citation process. And what that meant is they decided that they only needed up to 9 things for a citation. Now, I will tell you up front, you will probably use maybe 4 of these or 5, depending on what you're citing. But citations will always follow this order. Pay attention closely. Let me see if I've got a pointer. Yeah. Pay attention closely to the punctuation that comes at the end of each part, because that's what you're going to follow as well. So if you have an author, you'll do their last name first, comma, first name, and I'll show you that at the end, and then you'll hit a period. Now, if it gets into more than one author, there's a kind of a different format for that, but I doubt you'll run into too many of those. You can also get titles of sources, have a period at the end, the title of the container. Now, and I'll kind of go over each of these as we go, but just kind of bear with me. Oh, my presentation got ahead of me. All right, other contributors, if there's other people that have, not people, but other things that have contributed to it, a version number, like I'm on the 8th edition of MLA. A number if you have like a page number, or no, a number like as in a volume number, a publisher, who published it, a publication date, when, and then where did you find it, all right? Or where can I find what you're talking about? And that'll look different depending on the type of citation you're using. All right, so the title of the container is anything that a small piece of something would be inside of. So if you're talking about like a song, if you were trying to cite a song, the container is the entire album because the whole album contains that song, all right? If you're looking at like a website, you typically wouldn't cite all of Wikipedia. You would cite a page on Wikipedia. So the container for your particular thing is going to be Wikipedia, but the title of your source would be the title of the article. So say you were looking up like Susan B. Anthony, the title of your source is Susan B. Anthony, and the container would be Wikipedia. Same goes for videos as well. All right. So most of what you guys are going to be using are website citations. Between Common Lit, Edpuzzle, and a few other things, most of what you're going to be utilizing is focusing strictly on websites because most of your research has been done online with the exception of I think like 1 or 2 groups. Okay, so the first thing, like I told you, is author and or editor names, if available, and then last names come first, except if you have more than one author. If you have more than one author, the first author is last name, comma, first name, and then you comma after that first name, and then you just put their other names in regular order. So if me, Nick Candle, and Jake Haverstock wrote an essay, I would put Theobald, comma, Kristen, comma, Nick Candle, and Jake Haverstock, period. All right. The article name goes in quotation marks. So if you're utilizing an online article or a song or a chapter in a book or off of an album or off of YouTube, when it's a part of a whole, it goes inside quotation marks. Whereas if you were citing the entirety of something, so like a whole book, a whole album, a whole play, that would go in italics. So title of website, project, or book goes in italics. So big stuff gets totally changed. Little stuff just gets quotation marks around it. All right. Any version numbers. You won't come across a lot of version numbers, but just kind of know, like, if there was a version number, it would be like 8th edition, 9th edition, 10th edition, things like that. Publisher information. So if whoever put it out there. So like, the example I'm going to give you involves like Shane Dawson. So he created a video, he published it, the container would be YouTube, and then he is the publisher because he put it out there. He's also the author, but we'll get there. Take note of any page numbers or paragraph numbers you might need. URLs, what you'll do is for URL, you'll put the URL without the HTTPS there, and then the date you access the material. It's not required, but highly recommended, okay? Because a version of a website can change often. So, hold on. They still ring when you're not here. Or if they don't have a visible copyright date, make sure that you let me know when you accessed it because like Wikipedia changes day to day. All right, remember to cite containers after your regular citation, okay? This would be collections of short stories, a whole album, a whole book, a whole play, if you were citing just one act or one scene. A container is anything that holds the smaller works or is part of a larger body. So an entire site, I use the OWL at Purdue often when I'm writing my own papers. I'm citing the entire website here for you to see. So it would be italicized because it's the whole thing. All right, period. The writing lab at OWL at Purdue, and Purdue is the one who published it. Oh, whoops. And then they published it in 2008. Here is your website. And then I accessed it the last time I came up with the date, accessed 23 of April of 2008, which would have been before I would have made this presentation. Okay, so page or video on a website. So if you were going to cite a video, some of you are planning on using the Common Lit video, you'll title it with "The Secrets of Jake Paul," or the title of the video. So like some of you have like Salem Witchcraft Trials, which is a TED Ed video. Some of you have used other videos like on history.com. Okay, so you'll start with the title of the video, which is located right here, and then you'll title it, then you need to put the container. So what holds your video needs to be in italics. It was uploaded by a man named Shane Dawson. All right, it was accessed on 11th of October 2018, and then the URL I can find that video at. All right. If you're looking to cite a page on a website, so Susan Lundman here, Lundman, comma Susan, remember last name then first, How to Make Vegetarian Chili was the title of the article she wrote. It was published on eHow. It can be found at eHow.com, and it was accessed on the 6th of July, 2015. All right. So that kind of ends that part of our presentation. Let me pull up a Works Cited page for you. Okay, so I'm going to kind of zoom in here a little bit just so you have a better way to see this with me. Let's go 150. Okay, so as you can see in the upper left-hand corner is my name. All right, and then I have Works Cited underneath, and then I have these formatted incorrectly. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to type out your citation. It will be like a sentence. You'll type without stopping, okay? And it will divert into certain lines. Now, because this is now formatted correctly, you might have to hit enter before you can indent this second line. And remember, the second line needs to be indented, all right? So feel free to hit enter or return, whatever your computer has labeled it as, and then hit that tab button, which is located on the left-hand side. Oh, whoops. So this is a good example, okay? So if you hit return, nothing will happen. I mean, it might shift the line down a little bit, but nothing will happen. And then you have to hit tab, and it will indent it in. So one more time, okay? So you'll hit enter, very little will happen, and then you'll hit tab, and it'll put it on that indent, okay? Use tab, do not use the space bar, because what will happen is they won't line up, and this is all about uniformity. All right, the next one I had was The Secrets of Jake Paul. This one will auto format like it's supposed to. So, and it goes after Lundman because the is later in the alphabet because it starts with T, and then I'll tab over this, okay? You'll do this for every citation you have, all right? And you'll put them in alphabetical order, all right? I am going to be posting a short form or a short question for you to complete with this, and I'd like you to take a few moments and make sure that you understand MLA citation. I'm not asking for like multiple citations for you to be made, but you should be citing where you get all your information. All right, so if you used, I would recommend using at least 3 websites to find your information for the Crucible, and making sure that you're citing them correctly. You are always welcome to run your Works Cited page by me before you turn it in, because it is worth about 10 or 15 points of your grade. All right? Have a wonderful day, my friends, and I will see you later.